Hi friends! If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to our BlocksCAD class. Last time we were able to make an ice cream cone, which was super fun, but if you missed out on that, don't worry, you can always go back and check out that video later. As a reminder for everybody today, BlocksCAD is a free web-based resource that allows you to combine your love for 3D design and coding to create an awesome 3D file that you can then actually print out on one of our printers here. Today we're going to be making custom name tags. So let's get started. So for those of you who joined us last time, you probably already recognize where we are right now. But just so you know, this is what we're going to be creating today, is a cute little name tag that says whatever you want. Mine's going to say summer, just like this. But it can say your name. It could say literally anything that you're interested in. This is just an example. If you're joining us for the first time, you're going to need to go to the website BlocksCAD3D.com. And this is what you're really going to get when you first get in there. So as a refresher, to our right, here's our render window. If you ever get in a weird angle, which this is going to happen to me a lot this time because sometimes I'm going to have to, go above and below the plane. If you ever get a weird render window angle, you can just click on this button right here next to where it says diagonal to reset your view, and that'll take you back to a nice even view. The big white space on the left is going to be your workspace. That's where you're going to be dragging and dropping any of the blocks that you're working with. And then on the very left-hand side, that's our toolbox, and that's where we're going to be pulling tools like 3D shapes to work with, any kind of transformations like translate or changing the color. Anything like that is going to come directly from the toolbox right over here. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm going to render to clear out my original design. And we're going to start by creating a cube. So let's go ahead and click and drag the cube block into our workspace. If I click render, we have a nice, just a basic 10 by 10 by 10 inch cube, which we're going to change just because we need a little bit more space to work with. So along the x-axis, which if you remember from last time is this red line right here, we're going to change the x-axis to be 35. We're going to change our y-axis to be about 15. And we're going to change the z-axis to only be about 3 millimeters in depth. If I render that, you can see I have a nice kind of rectangle to work with. And this is really going to be the basis of where our name tag is going to go. So this is a good starting point, but remember, this is just a starting point. So if you have to make any adjustments, that's totally fine. You're going to have to go and you're not going to be using the same, name tag name, or your name's not going to be the same length as anything else. So if you have to make more adjustments, if you have to go up and down in the Z or X and Y axis, just go ahead and play with it. That's totally fine. So next thing that we're going to do, we're going to start by coming over here to where it says text. And we're going to be adding a 3D text right here. We don't want a two-dimensional one. We want something that's got a dimension to it. So we're going to do 3D text. I'm going to click and drag that into our workspace here. So to make sure that I can see what is in my 3D text, I'm going to go ahead and change the thickness to 5. And then I'll click render so that we can look at that. There it is. So you can see it says ABC because right here at the very top of this block, that is what I've input here, or it automatically inputs that for you. So we can change that to say summer because it's the summertime and we're doing summer reading now, which is super fun. Hope everybody's having a good time with their summer reading challenge. I'm going to go ahead and change that to say summer and click render. And there we go. So here is what I was talking about a second ago. The last little bit of my R is kind of coming off the edge there. And it can be kind of difficult to read this right now because it's the same color as the block that I'm working with. So let's go ahead and change the color of our text just so that it can be a little bit easier to find. I'm going to go ahead and just make it yellow. There we go. So you can see little bits of it are going to get cut off over here at the edge, at the very bottom edge along that x-axis, and then at the very far right edge on the y-axis as well. So we're going to need to translate our text and move it around. If you come over here to the transform block and drag translate down, we'll click it right on top there. And then let's start moving it. Originally we said we need to move it up on the x-axis. So let's see where 3 gets us. Now that went too far over on the x-axis, right? So we don't want to go to the right, we want to go to the left here. So let's go ahead and move that over -1. That's a little bit better. It might be easier for us to just go ahead and change the size of our cube. So let's go ahead and change it from 35 to 38 millimeters. This is looking a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and nudge that up to 39. Much better. So we'll move this on the x-axis again over 1. And I think I will go ahead and just change that cube right up to 40. That feels much better. Little space there. So now let's go ahead and play with the y-axis. We're going to move our text up on the y-axis. Let's say 3 again. It's a good place to start. And look at that. That is nice and centered right in the middle of our block now. I probably could go up a little bit more. Let's see how that ends up looking. I like that better, actually. That looks a little bit better. So now that we have this, the first thing is first, whenever you're 3D printing, if you have anything in the middle of something and it's not connected, like the little middle of this E here, and it's not directly connected to the block, it's going to get lost. And then you're just going to have a big empty E here without any information on the inside, basically. So let's go ahead and change our font, which you can find right here in this green 3D text box. We're going to change it to a Stencil Font. Hopefully this illustrates what I'm talking about a little bit better. If I click render, you'll see with the Stencil Font here, we are making sure that every bit of the font is connected into the outside block in some way, which is really going to help that out a lot because we're making sure that you can understand what we're saying here without having any weird empty spaces. So like A's, E's, anything like that, it's going to look weird if you don't have it in a Stencil Font, okay? Trust me. The next thing, and I'm going to try my best so that you can see here, on the underside here, it is flat. So we really want this text to be going all the way through the block. In order to do that, we need to move the text down on the z-axis by 1. So we're going to type in -1 in our z-axis translate block there. And you'll see it's down all the way through the block here. So that's really good because what we're going to do next, we need to make sure that this text is going to go all the way through our block. Let me reset that. All right, now we're going to be using a brand new block. We haven't covered this before, so it's going to be new and it's going to be really exciting. It's going to help out a lot of your designs in the future. If you come over here to the purple one that says Set Ops, these are going to be some operations that you can play with, and we're going to be working with difference today. So kind of like difference is the same as subtracting something in math. That's basically all that we're doing here is we're going to subtract one thing minus another thing here. So we're going to start with, we're going to take our cube and we're going to click it in right there to that block here. And we're going to say, take this cube and subtract everything that we've done here with our 3D text. How do you think that's going to look? Ready to see? There we go. So now we have subtracted our text. We've used the difference block to subtract our text from this, and we've created a really fun name tag that we can put basically anywhere. You can hang this up in your room. You can create a little handle on it to put it on a key ring or a lanyard. You can really customize this here, and then this is just the basis of that. So like last time, if you have made a design, if you've made a name tag and you want to share it with us, take a quick screenshot, post it in the comments. We'd love to see your designs. And as soon as you can get into the library and 3D print this. See you next time.